We get another development preview for Phasmophobia, and this is the one I have been looking forward to. We finally get to look at the video cameras and see how they're going to make them, each one different and sort of adaptable at different playstyles. I have no idea. This is probably the one thing I have no idea how to theorize, or no theories rather, of what they're going to do. So I have been looking forward to this one more than any other development preview. Let's dive right in. Lights, camera, action. Development Preview 14. Hunt orbs in style with new cameras and tripods. Welcome back, we've got some news for you, of course. With the next update drawing ever closer, it is a little bit overdue at this point. They're definitely stalling for time with these development updates, but I'm okay with it because development, like a delayed game is or should be a polished game, and I like a polished game. I'm a patient person, I can wait. It's time to look the new video cameras and how tripods will support them in this new age of ghost hunting. Video cameras. Ghost orbs have sometimes been hard to find. With the new upgrade system, you can hopefully make your orb hunting journeys much shorter. Tier 1 is an old camcorder that ghost hunting distribution found in the attic of the old office. I think it's actually the original video camera, or at least it's definitely got the old the green infrared rather than the new white infrared. I know a lot of people are actually missing the nostalgia factor for the green infrared. It's small and it's a bit beaten up, but it does the job just fine. You know, that's all you need sometimes. Tier 2? Oh god, that's a bit of a strobe. Tier 2 is the Parasonic video camera. HD video is finally here, and it makes finding orbs so much easier. Sadly, it gets a lot of interference from an active ghost. Oh. The one theory I had was that the new camera might not get as much interference from an active ghost, like it might not be as affected within such a broad range. Make it easier to use like during events and such. It was the one thing I could possibly theorize. Tier 3 is Boney's very own movie-grade video camera. Its large body supports a much larger screen, featuring a much clearer video feed and less interference from ghost apparitions. Alright, you know what? That's not that much new. They're all pretty much the same thing. There's not as great a variation with the cameras as there are with some of the gear, but that's okay. You don't need necessarily them to be wildly different. They're a pretty simple tool, and the fact that it doesn't get interfered with quite as much with ghost activity is going to make it easy to use as a an alternate light source. A lot of the time, like, we'll wander around in the dark without using torches because we've just got cameras, and that works perfectly fine. Except for when, you know, it starts to try to eat your face and you've got a lot of interference, or if there's a ghost event, you can't necessarily find it if there's a ghost event because you can't see. You can't see through this little camera because it's just glitching out. So maybe this will make that a bit easier. So that might... I'm saying that's probably not a huge thing, but who knows? Maybe I'm downplaying it. Tripods. I have a weird feeling this one's going to be more exciting, despite the fact that tripods are largely underwhelming pieces of equipment at the moment. For a long time, ghosts in Phas have strangely ignored our video cameras and tripods, allowing investigators to film freely without fear of interruption. Oh no, what does this mean? Well, the time has come for the ghosts to start shying away from our videotaping habits. During contracts, ghosts can now throw video cameras in a similar way to items found in locations. Oh no. Alright, this is gonna stop permanent truck camping, I think. You have to go back in and readjust your camera every time it gets lobbed. Tripods are here to save the day. Attach a video camera to a tripod to drastically lower the chance of a ghost moving your much needed video feed. Tier 1 has seen better days. Its rough plastic and scratched legs don't make it the sturdiest of tripods, but it's much better than leaving your camera lying around. This does actually make the camera a lot more useful. It'll be interesting to do some playing around and get the actual stats for how much less often it gets chucked. Is it going to be a lot less often, a little less often? But I get the feeling, even if it's just a little less often, it's still going to be a markedly more useful object than it currently is in the game. I was hoping that we might get the opportunity to put other things on tripods, like motion sensors, for example. But maybe not. Maybe we won't. Tier 2 is newer. Fresh out of the packaging, it features a small motorized attachment where you can place your video camera. You can then head back to the safety of the truck and rotate your video camera without the fear of getting jumped by a lurking ghost. That's neat. That's good. I like this. Oh, we've got touchscreens. Check this out. That's how we're... okay. They said they were going to update the way that the videos fed into the truck so that you could cycle back and forth between different sources. On the large maps, for example, there's multiple cameras around the place, and at the moment you can only cycle in one direction, which is really, really annoying. It makes it really hard to find the camera you want. This of course would make it easier. You make it a touchscreen, even though this clearly isn't a touchscreen. But anyway, it would definitely make it easier to search the appropriate camera. Neat way to do that, I guess. I probably would have just gone with a, you know, left mouse button, right mouse button thing to keep it sort of immersive. Hover over the mouse button and just click your actual mouse button. But I'm sure that there were mechanical reasons why that wouldn't work. Tier 3 has the same motorized attachment, but the tripod itself is much sturdier. It's made of strong metal featuring sturdier feet mounts and is almost impossible to knock over by paranormal effects. If you want to come back to your video camera still standing, this is the tripod for you. This is underwhelming. This is, I mean, it's the tripod. It was always gonna, I guess it was always gonna be underwhelming. I was hoping for a lot, but never mind. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I was hoping for a lot more from the tripods. That's it for development preview 14. See you in an update soon. I was hoping that we might get to put other objects on them. The motion sensors I mentioned. Maybe even sound sensors. Like maybe they could do the same thing with the sound sensors where they get interfered with, and if you put them on a tripod, then it's less likely. I was hoping that maybe like T3 might be an automated one that would track movement. Even. This is I'm a little disappointed, but I guess there's room for upgrades future on. Maybe they will introduce some of those features at a later date. I can hope. Still, I'm excited for the new video camera that won't be interfered with quite as much, and I'm always seem to be more excited for the tier 1 items, for that old sort of classic basic feeling. I like going back to basics a lot of the time. I'm looking forward to doing some like tier 1 item challenges with Unknown where we only use the basic items, the basic tier 1 items. I think that they're going to be kind of devastating in some ways. Imagine playing Insanity on that. That would not be that would be a disaster. Well, anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing if they introduce any sort of hints on some of the more niche items. We've had paramics already and salt. I would like to see how they're going to actually fix the sound sensors at the moment, because the current sound sensors are useless on most maps, except the very largest of maps, because their radius is just too broad. They cover half the map on a small map. And you can't narrow down where the ghost is. I think the only time we really use them is when we're really, really bloody stuck on high school or asylum. So it would be interesting to see if they upgrade into maybe directional, or maybe like being able to move them from the truck or a rotation. I don't know. That would be interesting. Maybe like variable, you can set the radius that the sound sensor picks up in. In terms of some of the other items, I think there's not going to be a huge degree of variability. Kind of like these ones. I think the crucifix is probably going to be fairly simple. I reckon the wooden crucifix has probably got 1 charge. The current crucifix still has 2 charges. I reckon the big metal one might have 3 charges. Like, that's a pretty simple way to drastically upgrade a relatively simple item. Smudge sticks, I would be interested, very interested to see how they're going to really make those better than the current ones. A longer smudge time seems the only thing I can think of, but that's, in some ways, I don't feel like that's a massive improvement, because it's going to change, like, for one thing, it's going to drastically change the feel of the game. Like, it would be an improvement for the smudge stick, but not an improvement for the overall feel of the game. And it would make hunting some ghosts a little bit more challenging, because you're going to have to remember the individual times for smudging. Like, the spirit, the demon, the Moroi, all have sort of smudge-related antics that go on, and it's always based on timing. So if they're going to change those numbers around, that's going to make it a little bit more challenging, even for like mid-tier experienced players. And it's going to make it really bloody hard for the new players who don't have those times sort of ingrained in their head. Let me know what theories you've got on some of the new gear. What do you think they're going to do with sound sensors? What do you think they're going to do with the new happy pills? Do you think they're going to have any bonus effects? Are the primary pills going to become just Tic Tacs? And I hope you join us when we do go live with the actual game.